I'm Luke Kneller and welcome to Best Replays of the Week. Roll out! As it's a tradition this season, we start off with a Carnarvon replay. By now, probably everyone knows the story of its armor profile. But how to play it in a city map with little hold down cover available? That's what our star of the moment, Beepo ASD, is about to show us. Onwards! A good opening exchange banks some damage. Shot after shot, like clockwork. But that's not enough for our hero. Instead, how about a surprise move straight through the enemy lines? Passing through, definitely not like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. It's working! Stunned enemies offer little resistance to an unsuspecting Carnarvon flanker. However, taking down the VK proves much more costly on the HP pool. Not even a double repair kit would save this Pershing as Beepo detracts it shot after shot. And so the clockwork continues. Tick, tock, and stay down. Ouch! A T-44 appears out of nowhere and now our flanker becomes the flankee. It's unrelenting in its attempt to disrupt our hero, but this isn't over just yet. Things are looking grim though. Only one other ally stands alone against 5 enemies. Stand tall, brother! It's imperative to finish off this T-44 before its backup arrives, so our hero does what needs to be done. A beautiful shot keeps the T-54 Mod 1 dead in its tracks, but the enemies are swarming our hero. Where did that T-34 go? Oh, there. Running for the base, eh? They're coming! No other way out now, it's do or die! And our hero sends them to their maker in the heat of a few seconds. Unbelievable! This was a 1v3 on a one-shot. Ferocious win. And an AFK SU to round it all off with a Pools medal. Shame, not quite, but still GG. Beepo ASD fought bravely to the very end and it paid off. With 8,805 damage, 9 kills and 2,286 base experience, and one hell of a last stand, this game was worthy of our Crucial Contribution of the Week award. Congratulations! Next up we have Paris Hilton in a not-so-glam VK3002D. Its armor might be sloped, but it still offers little protection, and let's not talk about the flat turret front. At least the fast-firing and accurate 7.5cm gun kind of makes up for it. Anyway, the map is the beautiful Mountain Pass. I'll gladly retreat into a log cabin here, explosive tank battles notwithstanding. Our hero heads west to the most obvious spot to engage the enemy force, only to find that the Reds stood them up. I wonder what these pesky enemies are planning. And here's the answer, a top-tier King Tiger C pushing straight into our cap circle. The green defense proves to be less than stellar, leaving Paris alone in the wild as allies disappear. The duel with the King Tiger proves to be scrappy and costly. Despite the suffering, our hero emerges victorious, leaving a dismembered tank in their wake. The fight isn't over just yet. The M6 smells blood in the area while Paris is stuck at the top of this hill. However, it fails to inflict any damage and attempts a very interesting retreat. Panicky instinct or calculated plunge? We'll never know. And now a 40 TP commits the same mistake, charging an enemy tank in a superior position while alone. The result is very predictable. At the same time, the last ally falls. Paris Hilton now faces 6 enemy tanks alone, stuck on a hill. An oblivious KV-1 throws away their HP, as you do. Eventually, all 3 Tier 5s are dispatched and the base is secure for a moment. Another M10? Wait a second, something doesn't seem quite right here. It's a trap! The tank is a lie! It's a full HP Panther disguised as an American tank destroyer and it's coming right for us. It's backed up by a Rudy, which fortunately didn't pose much of a threat. And after some expert use of armor and cover, the imposter goes down, leaving only the arty to deal with, which attempts a suicide charge, making it easy prey to win the game. GG. A great game by Paris Hilton, outplaying 6 enemy tanks while cornered. Expert use of armor and cover made sure the base was never in danger, despite the odds. With 5,200 damage, 9 kills, 1,810 XP, and a Kolobanov's medal to back it all up, Paris Hilton is certainly our Defender of the Week. Congratulations! Moving on to Il Haluf, our hero for this battle is It's Matt! I'd love to know the story behind our hero's name. So many possibilities. Oh god, the thoughts, make it stop! Anyway, Matt's tank of choice today is the Soviet T-3485M, the Tier 6 medium tank. A fantastic platform with a decent amount of armor and a hard-hitting, fast-firing, accurate 85mm gun. To kickstart this battle, It's Matt makes their way to the usual spot in the northwest corner of the map, while catching an overly aggressive scout. Not if your wheel don't point straight. An open exchange obliterates an enemy T-3485. As well as a KV-2 caught out of position with no backup. Whoops. Rounding a corner into a 1v3 situation? Bring it on! It's Matt excellently takes down 2 of the Reds, but an IKV finally punches through the armor, setting our hero down below half HP. Ouch! Another TD in an ambush, this time a Hell Kitty, with just 30 HP left. Even a near miss by an arty could spell doom. A friendly T-150 proves to be a perfect distraction, taking all the fire while It's Matt takes the damage from the second line. Great timing. But frontally assaulting a Churchill III is not a good idea, especially with an arty on our case. Now with a moment to breathe, we can finally see that It's Matt is up on 4k damage and really a top gun. All in 5 minutes. And with just the 2 arties remaining, the only thing that could spoil the party is a random arty splash. Here's one. Unfortunately taken out with less than half a second left on the reload. Bang! This time there's nobody to take the top gun away. A great fast-paced game by It's Matt, always being on the front line, pushing the tempo of the game. This game was definitely not Matt. It's Matt, down 4,500 damage in a Tier 6 game, well beyond any of their teammates. Add to that 6 kills and 1,846 base XP, and you have our crucial contribution of the week. Congratulations. And for the 4th replay of the day, we're dropping down to Tier 6 with Flash in the Night in a Jumbo Sherman. Our map is just as old school as the tank we're driving. The monastery on Abbey stands tall till this day, despite all the shelling and tanks that have passed through it over the years. Heading west means some solid cover for the Jumbo. Its turret and upper plate can be a nightmare for smaller guns to penetrate. This T-34-85 becomes kill number 1, but allies seem to be falling fast. A KV-2 is a priority target. Its 152mm high-explosive shells care little about armor. Flash fires as fast as the gun allows, but the enemies just keep on coming, pushing our hero further and further back. Nobody puts Flash in a corner. The second KV-2 misses its shot. Now is the time to pounce. With a decisive maneuver, the last 2 enemies in the west are dispatched. The trouble is that our allies have met the same fate. With Reds not opting to cap, Flash decides to find some arty. But all that can be found here is a stubborn P-43. Looping back around reveals the arty, but the VK that came back as well. One threat down, but the VK still has a significant HP advantage. What the? OI as well? It rolls down like boulders and fires, but his HP harmlessly bounces off the upper plate. In comes the VK. Who to shoot? Which tank to focus on? Panic! Oh no! This time the odds were too great and there was no miraculous victory. Flash and the Knight did their best, dealing 4k damage, 4 times the next best ally. Add to that another 7 kills and medal. All in all, GG. For this valiant effort, we award you our Heartbreak of the Week. And for the finale, we are dropping 1 tier lower, starring Death's Arty in a Churchill III. Yes, this is a tier 5 battle. This old Churchill existed even before British tanks were a part of the game, but it's still as deadly as ever. The fast-firing 57mm gun will shred any enemy with ease, given the chance. And the armor is not too bad either, certainly respectable. Well, maybe apart from the flat turret front. But setting those details aside, let's crack on. An aggressive opening, but it leaves our heroes stranded, looking for easy targets when there are none. Here we go, enemies at close range without much cover. Let the gun sing! You can see this poor T-28 regretting their decision after that peek. But while we were having fun, the friendly team wasn't. 3.5 minutes in, and only 4 allied tanks remain. 2 swift kills barely make any difference, as the score is 6-13 for the Reds and the cap siren is heard. Make that 7-14. Death's Arty stands alone against 8 tanks. To win this would require the carries of all carries. But got to start somewhere, and decapping the base is step 1 of many. All we need to do now is take out those pesky Reds. One after another, they shall perish. What a defense! Death's Arty engages God Mode and yeets 4 tanks in quick succession to secure the base for a moment. And another one! Let the bodies hit the floor! The siren sounds again. this time revealing a Hetzer, which is swiftly dispatched, as is the Chi-Hi, desperately trying to help its ally. Death Starty has brought this to a 1v1 duel, and in comes the final boss, an Excelsior! The opening exchange leaves both contestants on a slither of HP, making the next shot absolutely crucial. Whose nerves will be the first to crack? Mine? Just as the Excelsior retreats behind the wreck, Death Starty makes their move. The first shot is a miss. Second one bounces. But the rapid reload means the third APCR penetrates the front turret of the Excelsior, securing the most unlikely win. GG. What a game. I tip my imaginary hat to you, Death Starty, for snatching this win from the jaws of defeat. Between all this excitement, have any of you noticed the kill tally? That's right, we have another 12 kill game, and also 2.7k damage done. 2,340 base XP, Galabanovs, pools, Langlades, it just keeps going on and on. And with that, we had our Top Gun of the Week. Congratulations, Death Starty. And that's all for this week. Remember to send us your best replays through whatreplay.eu. You've kind of been slacking of late, so I want you all to send us your best replays right now. And remember, best is subjective. And don't forget to vote which replay you thought was the best this week. Pipo ASD, the D-tracking master on Minsk. Paris Hilton, our corner defender. You, it's Matt, hard-charging T3485M. Flash in the Night, the Steel Wall Heartbreak, or Death Starty, the Churchill III who won it against all odds. Last episode's best replay of the week was PVD in the Mouse with an excellent last stand while on low HP. Well deserved. I'm Luke Kneller, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.